Hey guys, what's going on? It's your man Qualified,
Yo,
and
it's Eddie C.
okay, this is a little bit of a. Let me talk into the mic. This is a little bit of a different episode today, uh, but I think it's an important one.
Yeah.
Um, First off, just something that I wanted to talk about real quick.
Yeah, go for it, man.
Uh, so this week, by the time you guys are seeing this, it's probably gonna be about like a week later. But this week there was a shooting at a elementary school in Texas, and I think it was about like 18 children
Yeah.
passed away, and I think there was a teacher as well. Like, so condolences to all the families. That's terrible. Like these kids were about to go on summer vacation,
Yeah.
and now they're just not here. As two dope dads. This is something that I've been thinking about like since I got the news. It's bothered me. I think about my son being in school close to the age of these kids. You know what I mean? Just like that, like he would have been like if this was his school, he would have been right in the mix. So
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I can't even like imagine like how I would respond or what I would do. So like my heart really goes out to the parents and those families.
Yeah, the families.
But like with it, this kind of stuff happens too much. Like there was the Buffalo thing, uh, not too long ago, and I'm not trying to like make it political or anything like that. Like it just for full transparency and not speaking for the other two. When it comes to like political parties, I feel like fuck both them sides. I don't give like I don't, but like that's not what we talking about. Um, but I just don't understand how there isn't like there's got to be something that somebody can do or something that we can figure out to try to minimize this from happening, make it harder for this to happen. Like, why the fuck does this happen so much here?
Here. Yeah.
And like, I saw like some numbers and like, I mean, I can't quote them off the top of my head, but like we were like 200 shootings ahead of like the next closest country in mass shootings. Like this doesn't happen anywhere else. What the fuck? Like, so I don't like this shit. Don't make no sense. As a parent myself, just like I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Niggas ain't figuring nothing out. Like, I don't know, man. This don't make no sense to me. And uh, I just I just hope that we can figure something out. Everybody make sure that you hold your loved ones close. Uh, you know what I mean? Just show love, man. Make sure that you show love to the people who are in your life who are important to you. You never know what's gonna happen, and I just hope that we can all be safe. Once again, man, nothing but love out to the people in Texas, and I hope that the local government, somebody do something. Like I saw a video today. What's his name? Beto O'Rourke. Pardon me if I'm mispronouncing. But like he went and confronted Greg Abbott and was saying some shit like, and they tried to kick him out. But like, I hope more motherfuckers do some shit like that. Whatever the fuck that you got to do within the laws to stop this shit from happening, please.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's all I want to say.
Yeah. So I think I can use this as a way to tie into the topic of today's episode. So we had planned this for a while, that this was going to be a mental health episode, and I feel like one of the things that can be done to help with these shootings is tightening the laws around getting firearms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I personally don't own any, and because of my mental health battles, it's best if I don't.
Okay.
And that's not, and I'm not a violent person, and I don't lash out, like outward to others. It's personally for my safety. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. We actually tried to record this
Yes.
a while back, and it wasn't successful as far as we had a lot of technical difficulties. And at the time that I tried to record this, it was before I went to San Antonio, Texas.
Right.
That's when I was, for y'all out there, that's when I was missing from the podcast for about a month, and Def held it down for me. I was at a PTSD treatment center in San Antonio. But before I went there, we tried to record this episode, and the theme of that, like what I wanted the theme to be of that, was like, these are my issues and I'm going to treatment, so like happy ending type shit.
Yeah.
It has not been the happy ending that I thought it would be. So but we'll I guess we'll circle back around to that. Yeah, I just wanted to share a little bit of my story. I feel like what I want to get out of this is if telling my story can somehow help someone else. And I don't know how that would be, because my story is still being written. My story doesn't have its happy ending yet, or an ending yet. So if you're someone out there and you're listening to this story and you're also struggling, I don't know, maybe this is a fucking, hey, I'm struggling too, bro, and we're fucking banding together, or sis, or whatever.
I think if nothing else, man, it's just knowing that you're not the only person going through some shit. You know what I mean?
So 2009, joined the Air Force. Went on some deployments. My 2011 deployment to Afghanistan was kind of rough. We used to get rocket attacked. We get rockets shot into the base. They weren't aiming at anything in particular. They were just trying to hit what they could hit. So it was always that constant on guard, constantly having to go into the bunker when attacks were happening and shit. Got back from that deployment feeling a little shook up, but okay, for the most part. Went back to my normal life. It wasn't until 2016 that I started to... in 2016, I deployed to Kuwait, and that should have been an easy deployment, but it was really stressful. It wasn't until I got home from that deployment that shit really started to hit me, as far as like trying to isolate myself, not wanting to talk to people. I remember we lived on the 6th floor of a apartment building on base, and I got home from work, waiting for the elevator, hit the button. Someone walked up, said hi, was waiting for the elevator too, and I was like, fuck it. And I just walked up 6 stories because I was like, I don't even want to be in the elevator with a person right now, you know? So that's the first time I reached out in 2016. Then in 2016 was the first time I reached out, like, I'm not acting like myself. I need to, see someone. I've always tried to been real proactive about this shit. Started going to the mental health clinic on base. And I pretty much, from 2016 till I got out of the Air Force in 2021, last year, was in some kind of therapy. Didn't help. Shit continued to get worse, but it was manageable. Like the symptoms increased, but it was manageable as far as I was able to go to work and function. Last year I decided to get out the Air Force because I figured not having the stress of the military and just being back home would make me feel better. So I got out, started a podcast,
Hey.
started working. And actually, I mean, the podcast, like I wanted to do it. I've been telling you I wanted to do a podcast on my own for a little bit, a couple years back, and then you had your wrestling podcast, and I was telling you
something
like
that we talked about.
yeah. And when I first decided like, yo, we should really do this, it was really just because I was in a bad place, and the thought of like kicking it with my homies at least once a week sounded good. You know, that's kind of where it started from, you know.
Yeah.
And it's blown up to, you know, what it is now, and we're trying to continue to make it blow, but pause. So got out, and when I got out of the Air Force, and this is like full fucking, I'm just putting all my shit out there, I guess. When I got out of the Air Force, I was diagnosed with a mood disorder and depression, right? But I knew there was something else up because I would get nightmares, flashbacks, anxiety, not wanting to be around people, not wanting to be in crowds. Certain things triggered things for me, you know? So I was working a regular ass job up until February when shit got bad. I reached out to the VA, and I was told that it would be a 2-month waiting period before I could even get an appointment to see a therapist, or get the chance to make an appointment. So who knows how long it would have been. So one night, I was up all night. I also had insomnia, and I just couldn't sleep. My head just was in a fucked up place, and I had an appointment, a virtual appointment that day, or the following morning. So I was like, I'm just gonna make it to this appointment. So I get my laptop, and it was with my like just primary care doctor.
Yeah.
Open it up, and like I was like, I'm gonna tell her I'm fucked up. I need help right now. And so I opened up the lap. So I made the appointment. Was talking to her. I was like, yo, I need help right now. And she was like, okay, we'll have someone from mental health call you. And I kind of just took that as like, you know, I'm telling this doctor, like, I fucking need help right now. And she's just going like, okay, we'll have someone call you.
Yeah.
So I kind of felt like I was getting blown off again, and kind of spiraled a little bit. Ended up in the emergency room. Ended up in an inpatient for 6 days here at Tripler. And then they sent me to San Antonio. San Antonio was probably the best I felt since before 2011.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. And it's kind of the reason is kind of like what you were saying earlier. Like, I was in a PTSD treatment center. It was a 28-day long program. I ended up staying there for 31 days. It was all people. I was the only veteran, and it was all people who were still active duty from all the branches. And for the first time since I started feeling my symptoms in 2016, for the first time in my life, like, I could just fucking be. Like I didn't have to pretend to be okay for my kids. I didn't have to pretend to be okay for any of my loved ones. I didn't, like, if I woke up and I felt fucked up, someone's like, hey, how you feeling? I feel like shit.
Yeah.
Right,
No
man,
more
well,
masking.
Yeah. Like, all right, man, well, if you want to talk, then hit me up. All right, cool. You know, like, it was nice to just be whatever fucked up version of me whenever I felt it. You know what I'm saying? I got diagnosed with PTSD when I was in the inpatient at Tripler. So before I went to that program, which makes sense that, I think it makes sense of why I've been going to therapy since 2016 and not feeling any better because you know I was getting treated for depression, or I was getting treated for like basically a lesser thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's what made like it allowed me to be functional, but didn't allow me to heal.
Yeah.
You know. And what's crazy is that I learned what PTSD was there. And like prior to that, like if someone would ask me what PTSD was, I would have described my my symptoms, or just been like, I don't know, man, I'm just fucked up. But like they explained it in a way that was like made so much fucking sense. Like it was like, oh shit, okay, so this is you know, and like I don't remember the terms and shit, but there's one dude that I was there with, shout out to Rob. He explained it like he reset it in a way that made a lot of sense.
Okay.
So like PTSD is like, so like you have a part of your brain that processes events, and then once it gets processed, it turns into a memory.
Okay.
So when you experience a trauma or something really fucked up, your brain sometimes has a hard time processing it, so it doesn't. So he was explaining it he was like, it's like a file. So like your brain takes these files and it stores it on the hard drive as a memory. Well, that fucked up event is like a corrupted file, so it can't get stored. So your brain is constantly in this like, oh, this shit is still happening because it's not a memory.
Fuck.
You know what I'm saying? So like when if I'm in a grocery store and I feel anxious and shit, like it's because my brain is like, oh shit, we're still in 2011 getting attacked. You know what I'm saying? Like and it particularly made sense because I used to feel bad about being at like, yo, them cats is getting it.
Yo, facts.
I used to feel bad about birthdays for my kids. Like I'm like we're doing a birthday party for my kids and I just don't feel happy. I know I should be happy, and that's the worst, when you know you should be happy but you don't feel happy. And like it made sense because in my head I wasn't in that birthday party. You know, in my head I'm worried about all these other things that aren't processed, you know, because I feel like it's still happening. Yeah. There was one Christmas Eve, because we have a Christmas tradition of making cookies on Christmas Eve. There's one Christmas Eve, I was up in the room while everyone was downstairs making cookies. Like I couldn't bring myself downstairs to fucking make cookies with my kids, man. It kills me, man. You know. And one thing I realized while I was there that like really fucked me up thinking about was that all this shit started in 2016. Lily was born in 2016. You know, Lily has not seen me other than in this shape. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so I was in the treatment center, made a bunch of really good friends. Like, it's crazy. For those of you who are in the service, you'll understand what I'm saying. For those of you who aren't, it's being deployed with people brings you close real quick. And I think it's the shared experience of being in a shitty situation. Yeah. Right. And you have to get close with these people because, you know, they got your back. If anything goes down, you have to have their back. This was kind of like that being there because we bonded over our past trauma, not over the trauma that was happening right now type shit, you know? Yeah. And it was crazy. Like, I was there with special forces dudes. I was there with people who were like actually went out and like did some shit. Right. Or like they were there and their homie got fucking killed type shit, you know? And that's not the stuff that I experienced, but it's crazy how my experience from my deployments was, you know, like these things. And then this dude who's like a special forces who has like actually was like firing and doing shit, his experience are here, but our guilt, all of our symptoms and shit are the exact same. Damn. So we can even though we can't bond over the experience itself because it's two completely different things, like
Yeah.
we can, like, yo, I feel like this, like, yo, fuck, dude, that's the exact same shit I feel.
Yeah.
Like that guilt you feel for when you did that, the same guilt I feel from when I did this. You know? And it was tough, man. It was tough, but it was just nice to be myself. It was nice to be surrounded by 20 other motherfuckers going through the exact same shit. We did some hard shit, man. I had to write a letter to the families of people I feel like I harmed while I was downrange. They do this thing called exposure therapy, which is the fucking worst, where like you explain all your shit to this therapist, and then they find what they call an index trauma, which is like the trauma that like fucks you up the most, and they record you telling that story.
God damn.
And then you have to listen to it every day, because the theory behind it is that that's going to help you process it. And then it's going to help you turn that into a memory.
Okay.
So it's processed, it turns into a memory, and then the effects don't affect you as much, or the triggers don't trigger you as much.
Really sounds like it sucks.
It fucking sucks. But yeah, felt good, felt really good after that. After being in San Antonio, ended up being there for 31 days. Came home and real life hit again. You know what I'm saying? Kids were struggling without me. Personal life things were not as good. Lost my job because I had just been out for 31 days. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So was on a whole new cocktail of meds. So that affects me, you know. Yeah. So I thought I knew that coming back to real life, because that's a controlled, sheltered environment. I knew coming back to real life was going to be a hard transition, but I guess I just didn't realize how hard. Or once I came back and like now the core things, a job, my kids, and my personal life are all just fucked.
Yeah.
When I get back home, it's been it's been tough. So I don't know. I'm still actively trying to work on it. I think right now the hardest part is the insomnia.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like you said, coming back from the facility, kind of like it helped you because you had that time, but then you got to come back to real life and deal with losing the job and then being without the family. And so you need time with them. And so now you got to give of yourself, right? You have to exhaust some of this energy that you had maybe built up while you were taking care of yourself. Life shit in general, man. Like, people go through shit without being in the military. So, like, life just has a way of beating people up sometimes. So, like, yeah, no doubt. And if you already got to deal with the other shit,
I remember.
like, I know maintaining my sanity, I have to constantly think of, like, where my energy is going and who it's going to. And I don't even have a family. So I know that, like, it can get to a point for people where it feels like you're out of control. And if you're not in control of, like, where your energy is going, then you can drive anybody crazy. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, one of the fucked up things though is like I didn't just talk about, like, while I was there, I didn't just talk about my combat, that's what they call it, my combat trauma. I was talking to them about just shitty things that happened in my life, particularly in like 2018, 2019. And I realized that I didn't deal with that shit. So it was like, okay, so now so we were working through both of them a little bit, and mostly focusing on the combat trauma because that's what I was there for. So I come back and like now I have this other thing that I need to work on other than just my combat shit. And like, even though it happened a few years ago, I'm like reopening those wounds and shit because I got to deal with it, instead of just putting it to the side and not, because we saw where that got me.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Yeah. But other than dealing with that other shit, and I think the biggest thing is like the sleep, the insomnia, the nightmares, and they go hand in hand. But especially with this, so I got this new job I was telling y'all about.
Yeah.
I fucking start at 6 a.m, fam. That shit. That's some bullshit, man.
Bullshit.
It's some
Can't
bullshit.
sleep.
Yeah, bro. The other night I was up until like 11, which isn't late, but then I was like, fuck, like I wake up at like 4:30.
Yeah.
Like, start counting. If I go to sleep now, how many hours of sleep am I gonna get?
I play that game like almost nightly. So yeah, man.
No shit.
Yeah, man.
Yikes. I used to struggle sleeping. Now it's not. I'd say maybe every other month there might be 1 or 2 nights that I can't sleep for shit, where I'll be laying in bed for 3-4 hours. And I finally just like, fuck this shit. It's 2 a.m. I get out of bed. I don't know. I just like pace around my living room for a little bit, and I just play some music and like try to calm down, because I just get frustrated because I'm sitting there with my eyes closed, like tossing and turning. You know what I mean?
Some bullshit.
Yeah. Usually end up eating like a bowl of cereal and then watching Netflix until like 4 or 5, and then I finally catch myself dozing off. I'm like, all right, cool, there it is.
Go.
I fucked up on my second day of work. I told y'all about this. Because it was like 10 and I couldn't sleep, and I'm like, fuck, I know I'm not gonna be falling asleep anytime soon. So I was like, fuck it. I got some sleeping meds that they gave me that they told me not to take every night because they don't want me to like rely on it. But I was like, I know I ain't gonna go to sleep anytime soon, so fuck it, I'm gonna take it. It was too late for me to take it because it knocked me the fuck out. It knocked me the fuck out. But I'm supposed to be at work at 6. I woke up and looked at my fucking phone. It was 5:53.
Shit.
Hey, you further than 7 minutes
And
away
I'm further
from
than
work.
7 minutes away.
Yeah.
And that's not counting like brushing my teeth and getting dressed.
Yeah. Damn, you would have need to live like 2 minutes away, probably.
Yeah.
At least to like do the fast one.
Yeah. So I learned my lesson.
Yes.
But the shit, like, how am I supposed to predict that like 6 o'clock that I'm not gonna be able to sleep tonight? So let me go fucking take this sleeping med at like 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, man. Yeah, man. It's just fucking life hits you in the fucking face, and when you have already some. When you already have some things working against you, the regular shit seems like bigger shit. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So I don't know. I wish I could be sitting up here telling y'all like I went to this treatment center and now I feel great, and y'all just need to go find therapy and y'all gonna be okay too. But the shit never ends, bro.
I mean, shit, it's a process, man.
It is a process. Yeah.
Life is fucking a marathon, man. Like we here, so like it's like you said, it never ends, and like it's okay to not be okay. And I feel like I'm saying a lot of cliches, but for real,
no, you good. I just thought of something. That's why I was laughing. But go ahead, I'll tell you.
Nah, but for real, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm glad that you're here, that you're still here, because, like, with everything that you was dealing with, you know what I mean? There could have very easily been a scenario where, like, you could not be here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the fact that you're here, you went through the treatment, and you still trying, like, that in itself is a success story to me, that you still pushing, that you still fighting. Like, for me, somebody who also struggles, like just you know just my dog being here, bro. Like that's big for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like when I'm having some of my bad days, like I can think about, like, not only do I think about like my son, that's my number one motivation. Like I think about like our podcast, I think about y'all. Like I'm like, yo, I'm reconnected with my niggas. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like even though there's other things that I'm not feeling the best about right now, like I think we got a good thing going here,
Yeah.
and I'm really glad that like we're here being homies. Like how much did we hang out, and then how much were we like not hanging
Yeah,
out?
dude, it was crazy. I thought about it like when you first moved back, because like just like that, it was just like fucking all right. Well, I'm gonna go pick up Kevin and we'll go to your house. Or you're gonna pick up Kevin and come to my house.
Yeah.
And it was just like it picked up right where we had left off.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we like when you were gone, we were hanging out like 3, 4, 5 times a week.
Yeah.
Some days.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was the shit when you were here before. Like we were if you weren't staying over at my house, like we were just doing shit after school or during the weekend. I think when we started kicking it more, I had already graduated.
Yeah.
So like I would work, and when I came home, if you weren't doing shit, we'd go do some shit.
Yeah.
Shit, dude. You know what opened my mind to like the levels of friendship? Because I've always had like a tight circle, like a couple of people that I really, really fucked with. But after like my very first like best friend when I was like in elementary school, who was my neighbor, so we hung out all the fucking time. After that relationship had kind of like gone and went, I never had a friend like that again until you.
Who?
And it was, I didn't realize it mentally. Like I never thought about it until you had joined the Air Force, went to basic, and like, you know, Bernard, I was hanging out with Bernard a lot.
Yeah.
Like I hit him up because I had to go run some errands or do some shit, which is the kind of shit we would do like just on a random fucking day. Like, hey, yo, I got to go run to like Walmart or some shit. Like I'm going to pick up some new sounds. I'm going to try to get it hooked up. Like, you want to help me hook that shit up? You know what I mean? Like just random, whatever the fuck it was. And Bernard gave me this weird answer, like, what? Nah, but when you get back, like, let me know if you want to kick it. And I'm like, all right, cool. Like, and I was like, oh, fuck, okay. Yeah. So this shit's just different.
Yeah, and like when you were talking, Kev, I thought of like 5 things that I was like, oh shit. But one thing I think that's important to say is like, and I know y'all understand, but I just want to say like, my homie Malik. So like Malik's been my homie since I was fucking 5 years old. He was the first motherfucker I met when I moved out here. And I remember like we would like throughout the years he would just hit me up just to make sure I was good because he knew some of the shit I was going through. Yeah. And I hit him up before I went to San Antonio because he didn't know that I was doing that I had been an inpatient at Tripler for 6 days. Yeah. And I didn't know what kind of access I was going to have to my phone. And I didn't want him to just be like trying to hit me up one day and I'm just not picking up. So I hit him up. I was like, hey, man, just letting you know this is what happened. I'm about to be in San Antonio for treatment. And he was quiet. And then he was like, I just want to know, man, why didn't you hit me up? Like when shit started going downhill. And I remember telling him, I was like, look, man, it's not because I didn't feel like I could hit you up. And it's the same reason I didn't hit any of y'all up. I know I could hit y'all up at like 4 a.m. or whatever time in the morning. But at that point, and this is what I told him, like at that point, when I was at that point, like there was nothing he could have done. There was nothing y'all could have done. Like I would have hit y'all up. Maybe y'all would have made me feel better in the moment. But then, you know, I would have been just as fucked up right after, you know. Like I knew at that point I needed someone with a fucking degree or some shit to help me. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, like I said earlier, like I wish I could be sitting here saying that, you know, I'm better now or whatever from that treatment center. But that treatment center did teach me a lot of shit. And I did get shit that helped that I'm still using, you know, and I'm always going to use. But like I said earlier, how when you're dealing with other shit, little things feel like big things, you know, and life just keeps fucking happening. And it felt like after I got back, just a bunch of tough shit happened that even, you know, someone who was in a better frame of mind, it would have fucked them up, you know, but already being in a not okay frame of mind, it's tough, you know, trying to find a new place to live, trying to find a new place to work, worrying about, especially coming out of fucking being in the military where I didn't have to worry about bills. On the 1st and 15th, I'm getting paid, you know, and
nice.
I'm not living, you know, a fucking super lavish life, but I got my bills paid and I got some money on the side to bullshit with until I get paid again.
Yep.
That's a good life, you know.
Can't be mad at it.
Yeah. And then, you know, going from that to like now, like, oh shit, I don't have a job and I got enough money to make through bills this month, but what the fuck about next month type shit, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, and then the stuff with worrying about my kids, trying to find a new place to live and all that shit is like, it's overwhelming, you know?
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, well, now that I'm worrying about all this other stuff, kind of like what you were saying earlier, now that I'm worried about all this other shit, when am I going to have time to continue working on myself or continue to give myself the time I need to reflect or journal or meditate or whatever the case is, you know?
It's all the self-maintenance, you know, and I talk about it with like my coworkers even, because I see, and I didn't realize it until probably the last year or two, when after I kind of spiraled in whatever the fuck I was going through. But I see it in other people, like people having bad days or weeks or months, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
People start to change a little bit and you're like, hey, what's going on? You know what I mean? And like we kind of joke about it, but like as adults, knowing to be a functional adult with the family, it seemed like you just need more time to process everything, right? Yeah. So you need to put a lot of energy towards your child, towards your spouse. And if you have a family, you have material possessions that need attending to. The home, whether it's laundry, dishes, cooking, the yard, cleaning, vacuuming, whatever, just so everybody can continue with their daily routine. And then on top of that, if you got a car maintenance, right?
Yo,
I'm saying like there's time, hours in the day, like just adulting, right? So like I'll spend the whole day off doing all that shit, and one of my days off I use for all that shit. My plan is I do everything I need to do so that I don't have to do no more during the week, because otherwise I'm gonna be cranky, I'm gonna be irritated or irritable, you know what I mean? Yeah. And that's just me. I'm just one fucking person. So like I'm thinking like you got 3 kids. Like goddamn, you need like 3 extra days off.
I do.
Like so whoever in control of that, give us an extra weekend day or some shit.
Yeah, you know I mean? We gotta at least. We
need a 3-day weekend.
We need to move to 4-day work weeks. Everybody,
and it should just be like
that's it.
And we can rotate. So whatever industry you in, work certain days of the week, and so it rotates so that like for retail, because I'm in retail, I get it. Like you got to be open on the days that motherfuckers are off.
Yeah.
So the retail establishments just have to have a different 3 days from the other like industries. You know what I mean? And they just rotate between retail and food services, and then you do like government and
medical.
I guess medical you can group together. I don't know. We'd have to look at a whole bunch of shit.
Yeah,
on the days on the days that the cops got the 3-day weekends, we going wild.
It's so lit.
No, it's funny you mentioned car because I fucking spilled my guts to this doctor saying that I need help right now. I feel like I get blown off. I do some shit that I'm not going to talk about, and then decide I'm going to drive myself to the ER. Get in my car, turn it on, my check engine light goes on.
Oh
Bro, when I told I have never been so angry in a car.
Yo.
Like before I even drove off, I was just screaming. I was fucking punching shit in my car.
Makes sense.
That's why I said, oh no, because I've had that, not that feeling, but when you described that, I remember feeling that, like, I remember, I think I had like this is the first time I ever had like an emotional breakdown, and I was like crying and shit, and I was yelling, and I was hitting my car and kicking and shit, like throwing a tantrum in my car and hoping nobody saw me. But I think I was like running late to work. I had just paid off like the semester of school, and then I was out of gas. I was on E. But I had just worked a gig because I was doing the painting, the airbrushing shit. I just worked a gig, so I had a check because they didn't do direct deposit. It was like a small business. So she would actually write me out checks. So I had a check for like $140. And I was like, this is going to get me through the week to my next payday. I'm going to fill up gas, and I'm just going to have some money for food or whatever the fuck I need. She spelled my last name wrong. And I went into the bank to cash the check, and they were like, oh, it doesn't match your ID, so we can't cash this check. I'm on E. Like, I know I've driven my car on E before. I know when it's low, when it's on E, and when it's E. There's about $10 there below the E point. I know. And I have used that up. And I got in my car because I didn't want to like explode at her, but I was so mad. Like I did all the shit, like work the extra gig, try to make shit work, like all this fucking shit. And I got in the car and I started screaming and I lost it. And I remember like sitting there exhausted, like not knowing what to do. I already texted my boss saying I'm gonna be late because I didn't want to not go into work. I need to get paid, you know what I mean? So I was like, I need to figure something out. So I calmed down. Fucking wrote on the check, corrected it, and I did a little carrot and faked her initial. And I went back in there and said,
That sounds like a crime.
No? What statute of limitations is passed?
I'm going to edit this. So what I did was I drove to her house with the last like little ounce
bit of gas,
and I had her correct it. And then I went back to the bank and got it. Don't forge signatures, kids. Ever. That's a federal crime. You know how much time you can do for that?
Yeah, man.
Because like nigga, don't do that. That's 5 to 10.
Good thing you didn't do that.
Whatever it is,
Like
it's
they
less
know
than
that
graffiti.
we know the law. Like Dave Chappelle. Like anytime a nigga think about doing something bad, an old black nigga pop up like, don't do that. That's 5 to 10. I do want to say one thing that I think is important.
Yes.
Really important. I used to hide my shit from from everyone, but specifically my kids. And I wanna shout out Shalice for this because I would have therapy appointments. This is a couple years back. I'd have therapy appointments, and I would just like, Lily or one of them be like, "Oh, where you going?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm just going to the doctor." Like, "Oh, are you sick?" Like, "No, I just got to go to a doctor." And one day Shalice was like, "Well, why don't you tell them you're going to therapy?" I was like, "I don't know, because it's just something, like, I don't know. I never really thought about it. I just always felt like I shouldn't say that."
Yeah.
And she was like, "Well, if you don't tell them that you're going to therapy, then they're going to think that there's something wrong with going to therapy." And I was like, "Yeah, you're right." So I started telling them, like, "Yeah, I'm going to therapy. I'm going to talk to someone." And then that kind of opened the door to, like, me just kind of slowly, and as they got a little older too. But I mean, Lily is 6, and she knows that she knows that, sometimes daddy is sad, and sometimes, daddy's going through some stuff because of some bad stuff that happened. And when I was in San Antonio, they knew I was in San Antonio getting help, and I have open discussions with them about, it's okay to not be okay, like you were saying, and stuff like that. And I feel like that's important to, like, once I started doing that, now they can understand, like, oh, daddy isn't just an asshole having mood swings, you know, like, and so I'll tell them, like, when I'm not having a good day.
Yeah.
And I tell them kind of in the hopes, like, hey, daddy's not having a good day, so if y'all don't want to, you know, be fighting and shit for no reason, it'd be dope.
Right. Maybe you guys can chill out.
It doesn't work, but
Of course it doesn't.
it opens that communication.
Yeah.
So that I'm hoping that when they're not having good days or when they're not feeling down, that they can reach out for help.
Yeah, man.
You know? Or at least, well, daddy knows what this is like, so I could talk to him about it or some shit, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what was funny? One thing that's kind of funny that I learned in San Antonio.
What's that?
Some of my triggers are crowds,
Okay.
being around people, or sometimes being around people, depending, and you know, just my anxiety and shit in general. You know what makes me have to be around people and crowds and shit?
What's that?
This podcast.
Yeah, it does.
So I said this when we recorded the first time before I left to San Antonio, that it never got captured, but I'm gonna say this again because I think it's important, especially now that like we've done live shows and shit, and I've met
people,
you know, people that fucks with us and shit like that.
Yeah.
I'm not an asshole, and you know, I try to be as social as possible, but I'm also going through a lot of shit. So like during that 420 episode, or that 420 event that we did, there was a couple times I just had to go outside just to fucking get myself together before I went back in, you know? But I don't know. I love doing this. This is, you know, when you were talking about the podcast and just being around us and shit, like, literally the thing that has made me the happiest, well, you know, obviously besides like my kids and stuff, since I've been back was doing this. And even on days that I don't feel like doing this, when I get here and then we start bullshitting in the living room before we come into this room, like that's like the warm up I need to be in here. And you know, like I look at our thumbnails, the thumbnails you make on our YouTube and shit, and almost every single one of them is like me just fucking laughing, like doing some kind of crazy face laughing, and like I don't.
You do a lot of that.
Yeah, yeah, and I literally don't feel that other than when I'm here doing it, you know. So like this shit does make me happy. It makes me anxious as fuck sometimes when we have to meet up and do events and shit. But I'm gonna keep doing it because like the feeling I get doing this shit it fucking keeps me going, man.
Yeah, man.
That's real shit. Like this, like just hanging out with y'all. And the crazy thing is that we would be having these crazy conversations and laughing like this, whether there was a camera on or not. Like this isn't an
also
act.
very true.
Yeah.
Like we just say crazy shit.
Yeah, man.
Sometimes I go back to our text message threads just to fucking, because we say the wild shit that doesn't make it on the podcast.
We're gonna have to make a Patreon and just read the text messages one day.
Sometimes I can't tell. Like I don't know what to expect because we will be planning stuff for the podcast, and like I get real professional.
Yeah.
Like when I get into that mind space of like, okay, we're gonna do this, then we're gonna do that, then we gotta invite this person. Let's plan for next month, and then like an hour later, someone will send me a fucking meme or some shit.
Yeah.
I'm just like, fuck. That's why sometimes I don't respond. I don't know how to fucking process what's going on.
The worst is when I like I'm away from my phone, like I'm not feeling good or whatever, and then I come back and there's like 20 messages because y'all two are just going back and forth. Like that's the other day when I came here, I was like, tell me what y'all were texting about because I didn't feel like reading back 30 messages.
Yeah, man,
and I was coming here anyway, so just fucking tell me what that was about.
Side note, when you said something about memes, that reminded me of something that I saw that was kind of going crazy on Twitter, and then I posted in my story and got a lot of people responding to me. Lizzie McGuire, or what's her real name?
Hillary Duff.
Hillary Duff.
That's the one.
Yo, she kind of got some ass now a little bit, man. There was a picture that was out here, and it looked like she was kind of dragging a wagon. I heard that it may be Photoshop, so I don't know. I'm hoping that it's not. If it's not Photoshop, then she probably did get a BBL. Shout out to the doctor. But if she didn't get a BBL, then she was just like hitting
Doing
squats and doing crazy leg workouts. But like, I don't know, man. I feel like everybody gets BBLs if they got money now.
Yeah. And even if they don't get money, even if they don't have money, motherfuckers be going into...
Yeah, motherfuckers be getting them in the DR or some shit.
Yeah. Speaking of...
Shout out to the DR.
Speaking of risking it all.
Yeah.
So, I don't think we ever discussed this, but this is off sub. We're done with mental health.
Okay. So, sorry, I brought up Lizzie McGuire.
I love penguins.
Okay. You got a penguin tattoo.
I got my kid's tattoo that's penguins on me.
Okay,
It actually has a little meaning.
Nice.
Because there was a time when I was doing the single dad thing.
Yeah.
And you know how like penguins, they fucking, was it March of the Penguins and shit, where they like guard the egg and shit while the mom is out.
Okay.
And they're like the protector of the fucking egg and shit. I was, so like
you were the penguin.
Yeah, I felt like I was a penguin dad.
Penguin dad.
And I always loved penguins from when I was a kid.
Oh shit, that's
yo, you gonna bond with Cozy.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
He loves penguins.
He loves penguins?
He loves penguins.
So peep this, Cozy. Oh, I'm gonna talk to you in
spoiler
person.
alert.
Yeah, never mind. I got sent a video of penguins dipping their feet in paint and walking over a paper.
Oh shit.
And then like this motherfucker at one point like dipped his feet in some blue paint and was hopping. I've never seen a penguin hop. He was hopping across the paper. And I was like, I will fuck up my credit score and risk it all to buy one of those motherfuckers. If they said it was $1 million, I'm taking out a whole bunch of loans.
Penguin dipping his feet in blue paint and hopping across. The shit must have been related to Snoop Dogg. Crip walking.
Oh.
Carry on.
Oh man. But yeah, that's my story. That's what I got, man. I'm on the journey still.
Yeah, man.
Not giving it up quite yet. And yeah, I mean, I hope that you looking up penguins jumping.
Is that it?
Yep.
Whoa.
Look at that shit. These motherfuckers. What do they got? They're not
feet.
Well, happy feet.
Canvases?
No, like feet, but
I'm so confused.
they're not paws.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? Like, what are their feet called? Are they just called feet?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're just feet.
Oh.
Yeah. What are penguin feet called?
Oh my god.
we gotta figure this out now. Pretty sure they're just feet though.
Penguinitis foetatitis. B.
Plantar fasciitis.
That's not it.
Yeah, it's not penguin feet.
Flippers.
Flippers.
Oh no, those are their wings.
Wings. So their feet are just feet then?
Because like if you're
Yeah, I mean they got like wait.
Because they're not finger painting. They're feet painting.
Foot.
So generally they're
Phalanges.
just called feet.
Okay, feet.
They are webbed.
Yeah.
Their claws.
They're not talons.
No.
And they're made
that's
for
eagles.
swimming. Which makes sense because their wings are made for
These
swimming
feet
as well.
are made for swimming.
Oh,
And that's just what they'll do.
damn.
One of
these days, these feet are gonna swim all over you.
Yeah, I'd like that.
Oh,
All right, man.
you got anything you want to say to people?
Oh, in light of what I talked about at the top of the podcast, just wanted to let you guys know that the intro will be switching up. I'm retiring all the gunshot sounds.
What?
Yeah, man.
I understand the reasoning behind it, and I fully support it. I will miss it. because it's been a signature for
Yeah.
a while, but
But
I definitely understand there's growth.
We'll
happening.
figure it out, man.
Yeah.
You know, I'll come up with something. And we're still keeping the AKAs. We didn't do them today because today was like I guess serious or whatever.
Yeah.
Do y'all want me to try to get a conch shell?
Did you just call us a cunt?
No. What? No, I'm asking if you want me to get a shell.
No.
Yeah.
Well, you just do that.
Oh. I mean, I could.
Yeah. Oh, we need like
I
a
should have been a
thing.
beatboxer.
We need a thing with where we can do the you know what I mean? The reggae horn.
Soundboard.
Yes, that's what those are.
I need one
I
that
don't know,
says
man.
like
I feel like
that's
the
what she
shell would have
said.
been cheaper.
Yes. Oh. I used to have an app on my iPhone.
Oh, I can just put
That's
it on
what she said.
I can just put the app on the tablet and then connect it to one of the inputs.
Boom. Bam, 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 bam. Get the reggae horn.
Yeah. And I'll label it so I'm not just pressing A, B, C, or D and not knowing what's gonna come up.
Well, that's part of the fun.
There it is.
Oh, well then I won't label them and we'll just randomize sound. We'll do a random sound thing.
There we go.
I guess
let's
gotta
stop
be-
giving away tricks of the trade.
Oh.
And let's say bye to the
I don't know
people.
if they count as tricks.
That sounds like
Don't
a bunch
give
of
them the
nonsense.
sauce. All right, guys.
Hold on.
Oh, okay. No,
You-
say
you got
Jason,
some?
do you have things to say?
Yeah. So life's rough,
Mm.
you know, and like Eddie said, sometimes the little things are just difficult. So enjoy what you have while you have it. As the great man once said, the only thing promised is death and taxes.
Facts.
Also, buy a hat.
Yeah,
So-
but
Hey, facts.
yeah.
Oh yeah, Father's Day is coming up, right?
That is a thing that's happening.
Yeah, so
your dad needs
there
a
you
hat.
go.
Is your dad
You
dope?
looking?
Is your dad dope? Let him know.
You're welcome.
I think I just want to end with saying that if you're out there and you're having a bad day, I've had a bad 6 years, so you'll be all right.
And we mean that in the most supportive way possible.
No, just try to get help and just try to keep on keeping on. I think that's a Joe Dirt saying, keep on,
Facts.
keeping on.
It's one thing that we can take from Joe Dirt.
Yeah. And home is where you make it.
Yes.
Bye.
Peace.